A few years ago, I made a video called, "What if Jake Virtanen wasn't drafted?" And this was one of my more popular Vancouver Canucks discussion videos, at least for its time. Even today, it's at 8,000 views, and it's one of those videos that I look back upon and really say to myself, yeah, this is probably one of those videos that I could look back upon and say, yeah, this is what made me feel that hockey commentating was something I could totally build an audience upon. And I'll be the first to admit that that video didn't really get the best reception, nor do I believe that that video was really any good. If you watch it today, you could sort of hear the bias in my voice, and me just saying that I didn't like him and I thought he sucked. That was basically me talking in that video a few years ago. Fast forward a few years later, it's the beginning of the 2017-18 season, and I had just come back from the Philippines. I went over there for a trip. I've highlighted this in a few really old videos from like 2012, but I am full Filipino, so I went over there, didn't really upload for a long time. When I came back, made a few short videos here and there, talking about wrestling and like Project Cars and some other NHL 14 stuff or whatever, and I did take a little bit of a break. And then I started making videos up again, because the first video that I uploaded for the 17-18 season relating to the Vancouver Canucks, basically, it was the rise of Jake Virtanen. And this video got quite a bit of traction. And because of this, I thought to myself, oh my goodness, all I gotta do is talk about players, and then I can build an audience. So I talked about the prospects, Goldolbin, Dahlin, Pettersson, Juolevi, all these guys, and I built myself an audience. And this long string of uploading Vancouver Canucks-based content consistently, daily, regularly, and with no hesitation, it was really what propelled my channel to becoming more prevalent in the suggested videos box. Because if I look at my analytics, I could see that half of my viewership comes from guys who are subscribed to me, and half of my viewership comes from suggested videos and people who aren't subscribed to me. So that's a very good balance. It was never really like that before, and I could thank YouTube and the algorithm for giving me that success. So I'm here today revisiting the topic of Jake Virtanen, the guy who basically propelled me even further towards being defined by most as a quote-unquote Canucks YouTuber. And I want to talk here about Jake Virtanen because his contract is coming up. He is no longer on his entry-level deal of $800,000 a year. He's now an RFA. So what is there to do with Jake Virtanen, and how much does he get paid if he stays? Let's take a look at what Jake Virtanen was able to accomplish throughout his career. In 2013-14 for the Calgary Hitmen, he grabbed himself a point per game. 45 goals, 71 points, and 71 games playing for the Calgary Hitmen, and many people weren't too surprised that the Vancouver Canucks took him 6th overall because, hey, he's a hometown kid. This was the management's pick right here, folks. And a lot of people were like, okay, I mean, Nylander and Ehlers were on the board too, but I guess Virtanen would be fine, right? And a lot of people saw the immediate success of Nylander and Ehlers and said, oh my goodness, shucks, we done goofed, didn't we? And this whole argument of the Canucks should have drafted a different player than Virtanen is really what sparked me into making the What If the Canucks Didn't Draft Virtanen video a few years ago. But Virtanen today is certainly not the same player as Virtanen was when he was drafted. Virtanen, when he was drafted, he hit a lot of people, he grabbed a lot of penalty minutes, and he was that high-quality, high-athletic performer out there on the ice. 6th overall worthy, some might even argue. But as his seasons progressed further, with the Calgary Hitmen in the next season, 52 points in 50 games, not too bad, but I believe he was held back by injuries. And going forward even more, the World Juniors came along a few times. He was, my goodness, he really wasn't that good in that the second time around. And the second time around, mind you, Virtanen was a Vancouver Canuck. And in 2015-16, he was in the lineup, alongside of Jared McCann. In 55 NHL games, he grabbed himself 7 goals and 13 points. This was the Willie Desjardins year wherein we grabbed Olli Juolevi in the draft. And to a lot of people, seeing Virtanen and McCann make the lineup immediately in 2015-16 was a huge sign of the youth that was coming in through the system. But As anybody who watched that season unfold would remember, they really weren't that good. And honestly, it wasn't really a season that I feel that they deserved to have in the NHL. So, in 2016-17, Virtanen played 10 games with the Vancouver Canucks, 1 assist, and he got sent down to the AHL. In 65 games for the Comets last season, he grabbed himself 19 points and 9 goals, and a lot of people at this point were saying, oh my goodness, he's a bust, isn't he? And needless to say, a lot of people kinda did bandwagon on this. A lot of people were really starting to harp on the whole Ehlers and Nylander thing because they were taken after Virtanen, but Jake Virtanen coming in next season, the Vancouver Canucks, this most previous season by the way, 17-18, finally earned himself a spot in the NHL lineup, played 75 games, and got himself 10 goals and 20 total points. Totally better than Nylander and Ehlers. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Virtanen was a bad pick. I won't say that he was the right pick, but I won't say he's a bad pick. Because Jake Virtanen is a player who still showed so many signs of trending upwards as the season proceeded along. He became faster, more quicker, and he was able to speed up with the puck in a way that a lot of people didn't really remember. It was crazy watching him fly down the ice. The only thing is, Virtanen needed to shoot more, and he needed to drive the net more. A lot of times he would fly past defenders, but he'd just go over to the goal line on the half boards and send it around the net. He'd honestly do it quite a bit, and it was kind of annoying, but at the same time, I mean, he got the puck, right? He's puck possessing, so that's all good. But going along in the season, he did manage to shoot the puck on net more. It was really good watching him develop alongside of the other Vancouver Canucks. And overall, as he bested his previous season in the NHL of 7 goals, with 10 goals, things did look pretty much better than they did before. But now, he's no longer a rookie. He's a guy who's coming off of his RFA deal, and the question comes up, how much do the Vancouver Canucks pay him? If I had to guess, what I would like, I would give Virtanen, personally, a short prove-it deal. I wouldn't lock him up long-term. No way. I want to give him a short 2-3-year contract, maybe even a 1-year contract, who knows? That's basically saying, prove it. We gave one of these to Berchi a while ago, and he's just on the end of that. I want to give Virtanen a prove-it deal, because this, I believe, is the smartest decision. If we give Virtanen a prove-it deal, and he doesn't live up to the hype, it's only a short contract, he gets out of the team a little bit later, and things are all good. If we give Virtanen a prove-it deal, and he succeeds, then by the time his next contract comes around, then we'll give him the money that he's worth. But for now, I don't see any benefit with signing Virtanen long-term. As for the contract, I believe that anything above $2.25 million is too much. Maybe even $2 million would be too much, considering the guy got 20 points last season, and he played primarily in a position where people did cheer him on, but he wasn't really one of the top-end guys. He doesn't deserve a heck of a lot of money right now. And I know he did have some really good moments. He outskated McDavid, he scored a breakaway goal against the Stars, and he got denied on Instagram when messaging a whole bunch of people. There's a lot of really interesting, highlight-worthy moments of Jake Virtanen's 2017-18. But none of them really warrant to me a player who's more than $2.25 million. I don't know, maybe I'm just really picky about that. What do you guys think? You can comment down below. It's always been, you know, freedom of speech and all that in the comments, but I would really like to see a bridge deal here. Because Jake Virtanen is coming off of a career that's been really controversial. A lot of people saying that he shouldn't have even been picked in the first place by the Canucks. So, if there's anything the Vancouver Canucks can do to screw this up, it would be, in my opinion, giving him a long-term deal. He doesn't deserve that at the moment. So, all that's left to do now is to just hope for the best. And Jake Virtanen himself, he said 5 days a week, working out hardcore, trying to work on that strength. Which is something that I appreciate, something that I feel I can look at and say, okay, that's really good, I'm looking forward to the results. But of course, it's not something that's making me go, oh yeah, he's going to be better than Nylander and Ehlers next season. Obviously, that's not going to be the case. So overall, Jake Virtanen, in my opinion, deserves probably like a $1.75 million contract. Oh, 1.5. Let's go with $1.5 to $2 million. I'd like him in that range. I wouldn't want to see anything more. I wouldn't want to see a term longer than 3 years. I want to give him a prove-it deal. A deal where he has the amount of time capable of showcasing why it is we should keep him on the team. Because he doesn't deserve that long-term contract yet. And overall, Virtanen is a player who I believe does have the capabilities of becoming even better and even better, because he is a guy who showed so much growth over the past season. It's why I made my Rise of Jake Virtanen video. That did get quite a bit of views, by the way. So, what else is there for him to do? He's just got to look upward. And I hope that the Vancouver Canucks do keep him on the team next season. But if we do end up, like, trading his rights or whatever, I hope we get a lot of good things back. I hope we do. He's still 21 years old, right? Something like that? 21, 22? He's still got a lot of time to grow. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Plus, that's Gaming, and bye.